All right, guys. So it happened again. Another illegal immigrant in the United States unlawfully has caused a motor vehicle accident while operating a commercial vehicle, and this has again resulted in fatalities. So Jashanpreet Singh, an illegal immigrant from India, was arrested in connection with a deadly crash on the I-10 freeway in San Bernardino County, California. And this was October 21st, 2025. Today is October the 25th. So this is fresh. This is a new situation that has been brought to our attention. I'm getting this information directly from Fox News. That I'm sure it's being reported on by some other ones, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's largely being suppressed from as far as the mainstream outlets go. I don't really know, because I don't consume a whole lot of media, to be honest with you. But I did want to bring this to you guys' attention in case it has been kind of sandbagged and you hadn't heard about it. And oddly enough, this guy has the same last name as the guy who done something kind of similar last year. And this was on August 12, 2024. I talked about this a while back, guys. You may or may not remember. If you go back channel, you will see it. And this one was on the Florida Turnpike in Florida near Fort Pierce. And this man's name was Harjinder Singh, same last name spelling. I'm not sure if they're related or anything like that. Maybe it's just a popular last name for these folks from India, culturally speaking. Either way, I got nothing against any race of people or anything like that. It's not, to me, really about where these folks are from. The fact of the matter is they're not supposed to be here, and they obviously can't comprehend how to operate a motor vehicle, nonetheless a commercial motor vehicle, around other people on public roadways. This is an absolute failure on these folks' behalf, and really on behalf of the governments who allowed them to obtain these commercial driver's licenses. Commercial driver license is not something to be taken lightly. You're operating very large vehicles, sometimes transporting hazardous materials, and even just the sheer size and weight of these vehicles is why they are classified as commercial vehicles and why you have to take extra steps to obtain licensing to operate these vehicles. It is a big deal, or at least it used to be. Now, apparently, it doesn't really matter if you can even hardly speak English, because a lot of these sanctuary states are issuing commercial driver's license to these folks and putting them on the road. And the bad thing about it is that even if they go to, say, California and obtain a commercial driver's license, they might be driving on the interstate near your hometown, all the way on the other side of the country. So the level of risk can be anywhere. Like you could be put at risk in South Carolina, in North Dakota, in Florida. It doesn't matter where these folks came from or where they obtained their license, because they're going to be operating these vehicles all over the United States of America. And that is something that should cause concern for all of us. Let's see. I'll try to get some more details real quick for you guys about this guy. Of course, they're saying, it's a tragic situation. A spokeswoman for Gavin Newsom has said to Fox News. Let's see. Of course, the Biden administration approved his work permit, this guy from the most recent case, and we probably figured that. And he was caught and released at the border in March 2022. He had been in asylum proceedings ever since. So he's trying to claim asylum, which is very common. That's one of the things that they like to do. And all it was the loophole for them to kind of skirt and circumvent the laws of this country. All right. So they're saying also that this is going to be, if this is the same guy we're looking at, let me get this story loaded real quick. Just bear with me. All right. So they are saying that the gentleman from the incident in Florida last year had answered only 2 of 12 verbal questions correctly and identified only 1 traffic sign in English, is what the officials are saying. But yet he still ended up with a valid commercial driver's license. Ridiculous. There's no excuse for this shit, guys. So the driver failed the assessment, providing correct responses to just 2 of 12 verbal questions and only accurately identifying 1 of 4 highway traffic signs. So this was at one point. And then the DOT indicated that the investigation began on August 14, 2 days after the crash. So according to the DOT, Singh was issued a regular full-term commercial driver's license in the state of Washington in July 2023, but illegal immigrants are not allowed to obtain this type of license. A year later, Singh was issued a limited term non-domiciled commercial driver's license in California. The DOT is investigating further whether the issuance of that license followed federal regulations. This is crazy. And this is the guy from Florida that made the U-turn at the authorized vehicles only turnaround section on the interstate. You know, you see them all the time. They're marked for official use only. This guy tried to turn a big rig with a trailer and do a U-turn on the interstate. And a minivan slammed right into the side of it, almost cutting it in half, you know, cutting the top half off of the minivan. And that resulted in 3 Americans losing their lives. And again, that was the case from 2024. So again, like I said, it's happened again. And this was just last week, this time in San Bernardino, California, guys. So let's see if I can find the other story again. I got a couple windows open, but guys, at the end of the day, I think we can all agree, however you may feel about immigration or whatever, we got to be able to admit that this is crazy for these folks. They're not supposed to be here. They can't speak English fluently. They can't read road signs. They shouldn't be operating any motor vehicle on our roadways, no less a commercial motor vehicle. Anybody who is not willing to admit that they're just full of shit, right? I don't care. I don't care. So apparently now, in the aftermath of this, with this being the second that I'm aware of high-profile event with causing multiple fatalities of illegal immigrants operating commercial motor vehicles, there's apparently some sort of a deeper investigation going on, and there may be some changes in regulations and laws regarding how these people are able to obtain these licenses. Maybe more federal oversight as far as issuing these licenses. I don't know if it'll make a difference. It's already too late for multiple people at this time, unfortunately. This is not one of the issues that we most commonly think about when we think about the fallout or repercussions from unchecked illegal immigration. But apparently this is something that we need to be paying attention to, folks. And if they're not talking about this on the news media, I would urge you to do a deep dive and dig and find the information as you can so that you can make your people aware of it. Because at the end of the day, we all operate on the roadways, and it's often referred to as one of the most dangerous things that we do every day, but it's also one of the most common things that we do every day. We hop in an automobile and we drive the public roadways, and we understand that it is dangerous, yes, but these are things that we shouldn't be having to deal with right here. All of this is 100% avoidable, and it could have been prevented, but here we are. So they're saying that they can confirm that California gave this individual a license. And this is from Carolyn Levitt, however you say her name, the White House press secretary. Crazy, guys, just crazy. So the most recent guy, he was arrested on suspicion of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated after allegedly plowing his big rig into slow-moving traffic on the I-10 freeway in San Bernardino County. They said, the police say that he never even hit the brakes before slamming into the traffic jam, citing toxicology tests that did confirm some level of impairment. So he was high on some sort of a controlled substance, under the influence of something. I don't know if it was drugs, alcohol, whatever, but he shouldn't have been behind the wheel of the vehicle anyway, and especially not a vehicle of this size. I mean, he was just, there's video from a dash cam, and I'll try to post some of that, of him just plowing through vehicles, guys. This is not something we should have to worry about. Accidents are accidents, right? But when you got people out here that are unable to read these signs and they can't speak English, and they just shouldn't be out here driving. Call me crazy. I appreciate you guys being here. I did want to cover that as a little bit of an intel update and just kind of in the wheelhouse of current events. And this is something, again, that can affect anybody who travels by motor vehicle. So, oh yeah, guys, I almost forgot to mention that the guy who conducted the illegal U-turn on the interstate in Florida and ended up resulting in those 3 fatalities, the case from last year, 2024, that guy reportedly failed his CDL test 10 times over the course of 2 months in Washington State. And he was eventually able to get a CDL and be out on the interstates and highways driving. And we see what the result was. I did forget to mention that, so I wanted to add that. I'll see you guys.